Well, I watched the Hawks and Bucks play the other night, and Zaccharie Risacher scored 36 points and only dribbled the basketball one time. He got off to a really slow start to the season. The first month of the season, he was really struggling to shoot the ball. But, if we look at it month by month, and I feel like a lot of people have discredited him or not even thought about him because number one, he plays for the Hawks, who aren't the most exciting team. But number two, because he started off the season so badly, in the month of December, he averaged 9.4 points a game on 38, 30, and 70 shooting splits. But he's progressed every single month of the season to now in March, he's averaging 16 points a game on 53, 39, and 74 splits. So his growth and evolution throughout the season has actually been very interesting to watch. Um, he's the only rookie with three 30-point games so far this season. He's probably the most effective in terms of efficiency because that's the knock on Stephon Castle is he's scoring like he'll score 20 points on 22 shots. The efficiency is just not there yet. He needs to work on his outside shot, and these things come with time and experience. You can't expect these guys to be ready straight away. So it's not really a knock on him. But Risacher is shooting the ball and scoring with a higher efficiency, and he's the only one that's a starting player on a playoff caliber team. So the more I think about it, the more I'm inclined to show some respect to Zaccharie Risacher as the rookie of the year. Um, because of the way that he's progressed throughout the season, even though he got off to a tough start since the month of December, January, February, and March, he's continued to improve and improve continuously. What I like about him is not just his shooting ability off the catch. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter calling him a 6'10" Klay Thompson. Obviously, he's not that. But his ability to move off the ball, to be cutting when he's away from the ball. And I think my favorite part of his game is he has the feel of when he shoots a shot, whether it's going in or not, he does a really good job of offensive rebounding his own misses and following his shot rather than just jogging back on defense. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about him today, and show some love because he doesn't get talked about a lot. I feel like he gets disrespected. Kind of a lot of people give him a flop label that I can't believe he was the number one pick, but I think he's been pretty good, and I think he'll have a very solid NBA career. What have you seen from him so far in his career, BJ, that you've liked watching?
Well, Mo, when you're watching these kids, I don't watch from the same lens and the lens of watching stats and all those things, right? To score 30 points in an NBA game today is not the same thing that it was 15 years ago. And the reason I say that is because of the way the game is played, right? The game is played now with, shooting, and you roughly have over 100, okay, I repeat, roughly over 100 possessions during the course of an NBA game. So the one thing that I always look out, which is an indication of what's your impact on the game, is your winning. What's your contribution to winning? I really don't have time anymore to lower my standard. The standard is the standard. And I always say this, why do you play? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you play? Okay, are you playing to get your numbers? Are you playing to get your stats? Or are you playing to contribute to winning? And a lot of times when you're playing a winning brand of basketball, it doesn't translate into the stat sheet. So I think he has a chance.
But
I
with
think
with
he
that
has a
logic, the Spurs are at the bottom end of the conference. The Hawks are the seventh seed right now. So if it's talking about translating to winning, surely Stephon Castle wouldn't be your rookie of the year because his
when I look
numbers
at the
don't translate to winning.
when I look at the Western Conference and then I look at the Eastern Conference, I take that into consideration. I just, Mo, once you get older, you begin to all these arguments. You don't argue. You just say, okay,
It's not an
here's
argument. It's
this.
just a question.
If if I were to ask you which one is the stronger of the two conferences, you would say which one?
The Western Conference.
Okay, then. End of discussion. So let's move on. The Western Conference is by far, from top to bottom than the Eastern Conference is at this particular time. Because of that, because of that, I would venture to say if the Spurs probably were in the Western Conference, in the Eastern Conference, I would say, they were probably higher than what they currently are. And they've had some health issues with their best player. So when you take that logic and you take all these things into effect, I would venture to say that they probably would be okay. They probably be somewhere in the top 8 over there in the Eastern Conference if those guys were playing. And they have room to improve because two of their best players are on a rookie scale deal. Okay. Two of their best players. So when I look at all of the factors that we're discussing here, I just kind of look at it and say, okay, this is what it is. But the numbers, and I get it. We're in a different era, but I'm not going to lower my standards to how I have chosen to look at the game. I want to look at it for what it is. All right. And I've seen this young man play quite a few times. I think he has a chance to be a good player. I wasn't as familiar with his game as most because I didn't see him play because he was in Europe as much. However, he looked like he has a chance. And we'll see as he continues to develop. Now, he was drafted number one. So obviously that comes with a lot of responsibility. That comes with an opportunity to make sure that, I think we will expect him to some point to be, if not the best player on the team, one of. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't think being drafted where he was drafted, you say you want to get an elite role player. You want to get a guy who possibly could carry your team or be in that conversation. So I think he has a chance. Let's give him a couple, 2 or 3 years to figure out where he's going to settle in at. He played very well, in stretches during the course of this season. And when given an opportunity, he looks like he can score a little bit. So I think he has a shot. I don't know what he's going to settle in to be. But right now in the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Hawks, what are they? Seventh? Is that what you said?
Yep,
They're
they're
seventh right
seventh.
now? They're
Yep.
seventh right now. And I think that's about right for them.
36 and 38, so just a little bit
Yeah,
below 500. What's
500.
interesting about the Hawks is their starting five is younger than the starting five of the Auburn Tigers who are playing in the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, people love numbers. People love that, but again, we are in a league now in the NBA where development, right? When you look at the teams and you look at the league and you look at the coaches on the bench, I mean, we have development is part of the business now. So we should not be surprised of any of this. We should not be like shocked by any of this. But what we should be is saying, okay, how good are these players? How good are they?
Mm.
Whether you're 22, whether you're 28, it doesn't matter. We've shifted into a new model, and right now we have an opportunity. Right now, this is the challenge. The coaches now are trying to figure out how to develop to get these young players to perform and perform at an elite level. When I say an elite level, make contributions to winning. That's where we're at. Whether you're in college, whether you're coming from abroad, whether you're playing here in high school, or you're on a current roster, the G League, what is the path now to performing? And right now, we don't, traditionally, we've utilized the collegiate system for the most part. However, you can see the shift. Where did that shift occur? Look at the last 6 MVPs. Okay. So I'm looking at the game. Other people are looking at stats, which are fine. Your stats gives you a voice, but the stats don't tell the entire truth. It's like saying analytics is no, analytics only tells you what happened after the game is ended. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen. It just tells you what happened after the game occurred.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. What has happened in this season so far?
This young man right here, before the season, when you start having a max player, at the very least, you should get to the playoffs.
Yeah, but the rookies
Okay.
aren't on max contract; they're on rookie scale
Okay.
contracts.
Well, but you're participating. If you have a max player on a team and then you got the number one pick, I think it's pretty fair criticism to say you should probably be in the playoffs, which means you should be in the top six of your conference.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. If you have a max player and you have the number one pick, that's not too much to ask. So right now, the standard of my standard, I'm not saying it's the standard of all. I would expect them, especially in the Eastern Conference, to be in the playoffs. I really do. But that's not the case. And what I want to say about this young man is I like him. I like what I see. I saw him play last year a couple times live. But right now, he's going to need a year or two before I can determine his impact on winning. What's his impact? And I don't I'm that's where I'm at. Like I can't I'm not here to criticize, but I did expect them to be a little better than seventh place or 500 a 500, record to have a 500 record at this stage of the season. But that's just me. And I think that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
you have an all-star in Trey, you have the number one pick. They got
Defense
some
player of the
really
year,
nice
Dyson
players.
Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, got some really
They're
nice
kind of
players.
set like 1 through 4. You got Trey, Daniels, Jalen Johnson, and Risacher. If they could somehow get a very good level center from somewhere, they could be pretty nice next season.
Well, I mean, Clint Capella is
Clint Capella's get out of there this summer.
I think he's pretty good. So whatever's going on down there is going on. However, there's seventh place. We can look at it, but I expected more.
So
I really did.
when you talk about Stephon Castle and impact on winning, what do you see? Numbers aside, what do you see from that young man when you're talking about impacting winning?
His versatility. You can see he can defend. He can defend multiple positions. He finishes with the ball. He finishes without the ball. He can facilitate. He can initiate. And in year one, he can defend the other team's best perimeter offensive player. I'm thoroughly impressed with what I saw from him this year. At the very least, he's going to be a very, very good player on a very good team. He's strong enough, he's physical enough to do that. He has terrific size. And I think eventually he can evolve into a leading start, a starting lead guard in this league. Now, he's playing alongside Chris Paul and these guys, but I think he can handle the position. I really do. So I like his size at that. And at some point, I'm sure he will. But he's so versatile now with his ability, his physical ability, right? He's a terrific athlete, but he can guard smaller guys. He's strong enough in year one to match up with the Luka Doncic and those guys. He's a terrific player. So I think he's going to be excellent, excellent, for many years to come with Victor Wembanyama. So I really like what I see with him, and so I think he has a real chance.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a solid player once he develops that shot and he gets just more comfortable in the league. He definitely has a chance to be a very good player, if not an all-star level player in the NBA.
Oh, he for sure he's an all-star for sure. And that kid's gonna be he's gonna be an all-star for many years. So people developing a shot. Well, if developing a shot is the key to being a good player, then the game will probably be in a bad place because no one will defend, no one will match up. The one thing that will occur naturally in the NBA is you will get better shooting. If it's one thing that for the majority of the players, I'm just going to use a 90% of the players, not all. Just by pure accident, you're going to develop a shot because that's all you do. What else can you do during the course of a season? What else can you really do, right?
Yeah,
You
they
don't
don't really
practice.
practice no more.
Well, you can't because of the schedule. It's not that you can't practice. It's just that the way that you play dictates, your practice schedule. Okay, the way that you play. So, when you take these things into account, for the most part, everyone improves shooting. Everyone. That's the one thing. Very rarely will you not improve your shooting. But so he's gonna be excellent. And the reason being is because they're gonna have to double team Wembanyama, provided he starts playing in the box. right? If he starts playing in the box, there will be
Hmm.
open shots, and he will get better. I mean, that's he's improved this year during the course of the season, so he's going to get better.